Hello from Florida. I'd like to share a new clay that I'm using. Well, it's new to me, and I'm enjoying it very much. It's giving me some results that I like. And I did a whole bunch of glaze tests with the glazes that I already have and some new ones, and some of them are really, really good. So the name of the clay is Speckled Desert Buff. It's a Highwater clay, and I order mine through Carla's Clay in Sarasota. I'm going to have to look at my cheat sheet for some of these colors. I was experimenting with a lot of light blues and turquoise and aquas because that's what the tourists here in Florida really like. So I bought a bunch of little 5-pound bags and whipped up some. So here we go. This one is opal. When I dip my test tiles, I dip it in completely for a count of 3, wait for it to dry, and then I dip it again for an inch or so a second time. So you can see the double dip at the top, you can see the single dip at the bottom, and at the top you can see if it really pulled a lot. This opal is very pretty, very translucent, and all the speckles from the Speckled Desert Buff comes through. This one is mint. Mint is by Coyote. Very pretty. You can see the speckles. It's a little bit more opaque, but not too opaque. You can see all the texture and grooves, and it fills in very nicely. It's very pretty. This one is Agate by Laguna. It's one of my all-time favorites. It's just a beautiful, beautiful dark teal, breaking to almost a beige sometimes. Really like it. I've used it for a long time. Works very well on Speckled Desert Buff. This is a new color. It's called Sage. Sage is by a company called Kruger. The single dip would have been enough. You can see down there, that is really pretty. The double dip got a little bit too thick, but that's why you do test tiles. So Kruger Sage, mixed to the directions, fired to cone 5. One dip looks like it's going to be perfect. And this one is called Aqua. Aqua is also by Kruger. I'm sorry, it's called Aquamarine. And again, a single dip would have been plenty. It's very pretty. It's going to work perfectly for the tourists in Florida. Covered nicely, no pinholes, little bit opaque, not real translucent, but I can see it going over other things very well. Okay, I bought this glaze called Turquoise Jewel. It's that one right there. It's a very dark, almost with a black undertone turquoise. And Turquoise Jewel, I don't remember who makes it. But it was just too dark. So I've been experimenting. And here I experimented with light Chino. Let me double check that. Yep. I put Turquoise Jewel, then light Chino, then a little bit more Turquoise Jewel. See that middle part? That's like the perfect color. The specks came through on the Speckled Desert Buff, and yet it pulled a little bit. It's got a little frothy look. I really like it. That I'm going to use again. So it's the combination of the Turquoise Jewel on the left with some light Chino by Coyote. Now this baby is Blue Rutile. my blue rutile, Potter's Choice, has been sitting in a bucket, I'm not exaggerating, 6 years. So I didn't have any luck with it when I first got it, but then 6 years ago I wasn't firing very well. I didn't really know what I was doing. I probably wasn't applying it very well. I'm sure I didn't have a hydrometer to measure the viscosity and all that stuff. So anyway, I dragged it out, sieved it, measured it, did a couple of tests, and I'm getting a beautiful result. It's a little bit of a darker blue than a lot of people get, but it does break to that pretty foamy light blue. So this again is one coat at 3 seconds and then a second coat quickly afterwards, but it dripped all the way down that second coat. A little more experimentation, it's a beautiful blue. No more brown on my blue rutile. This is chambray by Standard Ceramic. It's always been very good. The thing with it is, one coat's perfect, 2 coats and it starts to pull so much it gets thin. But it's a very nice medium shade, a little bit of texture to it, covers nicely. You can see it just pulled down and got a little bit too much. So you put it over Shino or something and it pulls just ever so slightly. Really pretty. Now this is a new one. This is Textured Matte Blue by Kruger. And this is my first test, and you can start to see it having that different sort of color and texture. So I'm going to experiment a little bit more. This was cone 5, and I got a real good cone 5. My husband had just changed my thermocouplers. My cone said it really was good. So I'm excited to try this over light Shino or over Shino or over Albany Slip because it's a real strong, good color, and I think it'll blend nicely. But that's the next test. So here's a bunch of neutrals that I also tested. And they're all absolutely gorgeous. I don't know, I like one more than I like the other. This one here is Albany Slip. I've used it often. This is light Shino. This one is Goldenrod Shino. This one is Colonial White. This one is Waxy White. And this one is something new called Matte Speckled Tan by Kruger. I like it. One coat, again, is going to be plenty. Good morning, Colleen. So, Kruger, one coat's plenty. Waxy White is a Standard Ceramic. Everything I get from Standard Ceramic is perfect. I have never been disappointed. Colonial White is by Laguna. And then the Goldenrod Shino and the Light Shino and are both Coyote. And then the Albany Slip is Potter's Choice. That's always creamy, dreamy. And then down here are some things that just didn't make me too happy, except this one. This is Waxy White over medium cork. I think that's really pretty. This one I think has wonderful potential. It's Bamboo Ash by Laguna, and then I dipped the tip of it into that really dark turquoise jewel, and I got that beautiful light green color. So I think that's a keeper. And then I'm trying to resurrect a glaze, so I'm just keep trying to get that gray-green. And then, of course, Turkish Amber always does beautiful things. And it's wonderful with something over it. It's just a beautiful golden, breaking to golden, dark brown, real translucent. So I had a really good test firing. This little hand-built plate is light Shino with mottled blue by Standard over it. And this one is light Shino with a dip of sage, which is Kruger. So, these are the tests. I made a pretty little show for you. I don't usually keep them like this. They're in a big pile in a box. So, Speckled Desert Buff, Highwater clay. I buy it from Carla's Clay. A lot of glaze tests, and I'm going to do some more today as well. See how all my glazes work on this new clay that I'm very happy with. The speckles give it that nice earthy look, and the fact that it's a buffy white makes the colors just beautiful. I mean, look at that. What's not to love about that color? Thanks for watching.